Stage. What's going on? Oh!
It's a metronome.
Oh, right! Fuck!
Welcome back to Perfect Practice. This is a series meant to explore the topic of practice, talk about things you may not have considered regarding practice, and just changing your mindset a little bit when it comes to practice. So this is from the perspective of a guitarist. However, I think everything we talk about is pretty broad and can be applied to any instrument and sometimes even skills outside of music. Today I'll be talking about why using a metronome and recording yourself are extremely powerful tools when it comes to improving your musical ability, specifically your timing. This is a weirdly controversial one. It seems like guitarists specifically don't like metronomes, and part of what I've researched actually shows why they don't like them, and I think we're gonna have to sort of debunk some of these like metronome myths so we're all on the same page, because the rest of the video won't make any sense. So I'm gonna go ahead and sort of, I guess, like debunk those myths right now, and then we'll get started with like the video proper. Okay, so why don't people like metronomes? From what I've gathered, people don't really understand when to use metronomes, and this is actually a super simple thing. So you should be using a metronome when you're trying to improve your timing 9 out of 10 times. If you're having trouble with your finger dexterity, a metronome's not going to help you. If you're having trouble muting your strings, a metronome's not really going to help you. So anything that's not to do with your timing, a metronome won't help. It's really that simple. That kind of covers our first like myth. I keep calling them myths. That's not really the right word, but a metronome is to set your internal time. So when people say play along to a metronome, the wording there is not entirely accurate, because you're using the metronome to set your timing. You have to know when the next click is, right? You don't react to the next click. You don't wait to hear for the next click. Your inner timing should already be set to that. And that gets set by the metronome in this case. Okay, third myth. Programming drums is a form of a metronome, and what I mean by that is that from what I've looked at online, some people can, play to your super simple like 4/4 kick drum snare tracks. They can play along to those in time, but something about a metronome just like it doesn't work. But playing along to a drum track just to keep time is fine, because really what you're looking for is a tool, is a reference to know when you're off and to know what the timing of the song is, and drums do that as long as they're played or programmed well. And then the last thing to keep in mind, if you are having timing issues with your metronome, like when playing to a metronome, or having timing issues, it might sometimes not really even be your timing. What it could be is like you're tensing up a lot, or maybe your fingering's not quite right, and because of that, you just aren't able to have the fluid motion that'll get you to the time you want. So it's not really that you can't play along to a metronome, it's that it's more your technique is hindering you from actually going to the speed you want, if that makes sense. All right, let's get back to the video. Now that we got that cleared up, I'll tell you why I think not using a metronome is really doing yourself a disservice. We'll talk about how recording is kind of like the next step up from just using a metronome. Okay, so back when I was 13, 14, I wanted to start a YouTube channel where I could create not only guitar covers, but covers of video game soundtracks, movie soundtracks. At the time, I felt like there weren't really many guitar covers in that sort of area. Now, of course, to make these videos, I have to record my guitar somehow. This was kind of my introduction to recording / like audio engineering, production sort of stuff. I was told by my guitar teacher that I always had good timing. Because of that, I never really worried about it, right? Knew I had good timing, and I felt comfortable about it. It's when I started my YouTube channel and started recording, which is when I figured out I had mistakes in my timing. It wasn't as good as I thought it was. There were mistakes, and this was eye-opening to me, as I, thought there were none. And I never really worried about my timing in the past, but here I was with my mistakes staring me right in the face. As you can guess, over years of recording, my timing got better because I was forced to get better. When you're recording a song, you can't really get away with any mistakes. When playing live, missing a note, rushing a phrase, it doesn't ruin the experience, right? Most people don't care, and that's only if they even notice it in the first place. But in the world of recorded music, you have to limit those mistakes. You have to get the best take possible within a realistic metric. This forced me to improve my timing. Part of learning that was learning how to sort of sync myself with the metronome, right? So my issue was rushing. I learned how to slow down and to actually feel the timing of what I'm playing, and my timing got a lot better. The beauty of this is that your mistake might not even be timing in this case. Maybe your timing is perfect. Recording yourself will really give you an idea of, okay, maybe I'm not muting my strings properly. Maybe I'm not, doing this properly. And I'm just using guitar as an example here. Reminder, this can be used for literally any instrument. Maybe your bends aren't as accurate as you think they are, right? Maybe the actual tone you're getting via your fingers, you're doing something wrong. Maybe your mistake is your parents barging into the room and telling you they regret ever getting you lessons. That's for you to find out. After going through this journey myself of my bad timing, I honestly see practicing without a metronome as basically pointless. You can practice all you want, but if it's not to a metronome, you won't be equipped with the skills you need to, record a project and sometimes even play with others, right? Practicing to a metronome helps improve your timing. And recording yourself will help you recognize when and where you mess up and what exactly you mess up. When you know where you mess up, you're in a much better position to fix those mistakes. And that goes for anything, right? Once you know what you're doing wrong, how to improve that becomes way easier. And in my circle of musicians, we do differentiate between playing and recording because not everyone that can play can record, right? And even in general, as humans, we are bad at knowing what we are, okay? We're not good judges of what we look like. We're not good judges of what we sound like. And that's the same thing with music, I think that's probably one of the biggest things that holds people back in the beginning is that they're really not attuned to like what should sound right and what I'm getting wrong. The first time you heard your voice back in a recording, that doesn't sound right to you because that's not how it sounds to you. So yeah, getting a recording is super important because it's an unbiased reference of what's going on. And once you have that, you'll be able to see how you can improve or what you need to improve. The other part of this is context. So are you recording a lot or are you doing a lot of live shows? If you're playing with a band a lot, you want to practice with them to see how all of you play, and bands can fluctuate their timing, right? If you aren't attuned to what the rest of your bandmates are doing, you could be off. So if everyone slows down a little bit and you notice it and you don't slow down because you're trying to, keep in time, it's actually you that are now off because the band in this case is the metronome, right? Or I guess the drummer is the metronome. If he or she slows down or speeds up, that is now the new speed. That's what you have to follow. It's still useful to practice to a metronome to get your internal timing right, but in a live setting, things are a little bit different. You have to give yourself up a little bit to the ebb and flow of things. Furthermore, there are some applications where you might not even want to record with a metronome. You might be doing something super ambient, depending on genre and band. There might be a style you want to go for that will actually be helped by not having a metronome. However, I don't believe most musicians are kind of in that category, and if they are, they're probably not watching this anyways. But even then, your own sense of timing has to be good, even if you are just trying to go with the ebb and flow of things. So there it is. That's my advice on playing with a metronome. As always, if you disagree, please let me know in the comments. This is all about creating a space where we as musicians can analyze and share what's helped us. And, I'm sure not everything that I said in this video is true for everyone. So, it's just about talking about things that people don't talk about when it comes to practice. Everyone tells you to practice, but if you don't know how, then it's like you kind of, you can't really improve. So, yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.